So, have you ever found yourself just wondering about life's biggest questions? What if I told you the key to some of those answers was hiding inside a charming little children's storybook? A storybook that has a pretty amazing technological secret. Let's dive into the story of Clara's squishy questions. Right away, we meet Clara. And she's just wonderful. She's this little clay character who's full of these, well, squishy questions. You know the kind. The big, profound thoughts that just pop into your head when you least expect it. Like, why am I me? We've all been there, right? It's the start of that classic journey to figure out who we are. So Clara's quest officially kicks off, and it's a journey that's going to lead her to two very different, but as we'll see, equally important ways of seeing the world. And Clara's whole mission really gets you thinking, doesn't it? It brings up this fundamental question for every single one of us. When you're wrestling with these huge, abstract ideas about yourself or the universe, where do you even begin to look for answers? Well, Clara quickly learns that there isn't just one path. The story introduces these two really powerful lenses we can use to look at reality: science and philosophy. Let's see how the story breaks them down. So, on one hand, you've got science. The story's character, Professor Sage, explains that science is all about the how. It's the tool we use to figure out how our bodies work, how gravity works, how all the machinery of the universe ticks. You know, it's all about experiments, observations, hard evidence. It gives us the schematics. But then, what about those questions you can't really measure in a lab? Those are the squishy ones. And that's where philosophy steps in. It's not about the how, it's about the why. Why do we have feelings? Why are we even here? It's the tool for tackling questions about meaning and purpose. Okay, so we've got the how from science and the why from philosophy. And this is where the story does something really clever. It combines them to create a brand new idea, something designed specifically to understand, well, you. This quote from the book just nails it. Professor Sage basically says, hey, what if we just put these two incredibly powerful tools together? And this combination gets its own name, philosophy. It's such a simple idea, but it has some really powerful implications. So let's break that down, because this is the key. Philosophy is presented as this unified approach. You use science to understand the nuts and bolts of your body and your brain, the what you are, and then you use philosophy to explore the deeper meaning, the why you are. It's about looking at the whole self, inside and out, all at the same time. And for Clara, this is the big aha moment. You can see her face just light up. She gets it. This new tool, Philselfology, is exactly what she's been looking for to explore her own wonderful, squishy self. It's a really sweet and empowering end to her journey. But, and this is a big but, the story of this book doesn't actually end there. Because yeah, as charming as this whole thing is, it's not just a story. It's kind of got a secret identity. So let's pull back the curtain and talk about the story behind the story. Because what we've been looking at, it's actually the result of this really fascinating experiment that combines decades of human research with some seriously powerful AI. Okay, so here's the deal. This book is officially called a Storybook Experiment trial book. And that core concept, philosophy, it's not just some made-up word for a kid's story. It's actually based on 40 to 50 years of real human research by a researcher named Harmandar Singh. And to bring it all to life, he teamed up with Google's AI. So how did that actually work? This wasn't a case of just typing, "write me a story about philosophy" into a box. No, this was a true partnership between a human expert and a creative AI. The process was actually really structured. First, the human researcher, Harmandar Singh, he laid the groundwork. He provided the core ideas, the hypothesis, the themes of philosophy. Then Google's AI took that and connected it to all that existing research from the past few decades. And finally, once it had all that context, Google's Gemini AI went to work and produced the whole shebang: the story, the characters, and all those cool clay-style illustrations. And get this, the AI didn't just stop there. It also created a digital, interactive flipbook version you can play with. It generated a full audiobook narration, and it even packaged up all the files so they're ready for printing and sharing. It was basically a complete content creation engine, all steered by that initial human vision. Which brings us right back around to Clara's journey. The book ends with her realizing that understanding herself was the most exciting adventure of all. And there's this perfect parallel, right? The theme of the book, understanding the self, is completely mirrored by the experiment that created it, using our newest tools to better understand and communicate our oldest human ideas. So this all leaves us with one last really big thought. This whole project is an incredible glimpse into what might be next. As we see this line blurring between deep human expertise and powerful AI creativity, could this be the future? Is this how we're all going to start answering our own deepest, most squishy questions? It's definitely an exciting adventure to think about.